We're going to continue with the greatest common factor and the least common multiple, and we're going to go into what is called the ladder method. Now, this is my favorite way to solve these problems, and you'll see why. I find it's just easier to think it through than the other ones, but you can make your decision if you like the Venn diagram or the ladder method. So let's go through it. So here we go with the ladder method. The first thing you do with the ladder method is you're going to take and you're going to write down both your numbers. So I'm going to type it up because it's going to be easier to see than my handwriting. Actually, I can write it up. So I start and I put my numbers. So I'm going to put my number 30 from here. Okay, so I'm going to write that here. Then I'm going to take my number 50 from here and I'm going to write it right here. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to draw a line next to it like this, like here. Okay, so there's my line. It's not the greatest line. I like it to be straight. There we go. Okay, so now I have to think, what number goes into 30 and 50? You can pick the smallest number. You can pick the largest number. Well, I'm going to say I know that 30 and 50, they both end in a 0. If I look at my divisibility rules, that means that because they're both divisible by 0, that they can go into 10. Because they're both visible by 0. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually figure it out. So I am going to do 30 divided by 10. So I'm just going to put it over here so you can see what I did. I did 30 divided by 10, and that is going to equal 3. And then I'm going to go 50 divided by 10, and that is going to equal 5. So then right here, I'm going to write a 3, and right here, I'm going to write a 5. Now, I have to think, does a number go into 3 and 5 also? No, it doesn't. So actually, I'm done with my little ladder. And that one actually is a very easy ladder. So I just draw my little line like this. And that is where I'm at. And now I look. The number that ends up, whatever ends up over here on this side, is my GCF. It's my greatest common factor. So there's only one number, and that's 10. So that's going to go here. And now for my LCM, the LCM, think of it as it makes an L shape. So the LCM is actually going to be all of these that you're going to multiply. So 10 times 3 is 30, times 5 is 150. So this LCM is 150. That's a very large number for an LCM, but it just works out that way. And so that's it. Okay, so and then we'll go through one more example. Maybe it'll be a little bit harder. So let me get it up on the board. Okay, here's my second example. Okay, so I'm going to start again like before. I have the number 42, so I'm going to write that one here. Then my other number, which is right here, is 70, and I'm going to write it next to it like this, okay? Now I'm going to draw my little line over here to start, just like so. And I think, what number goes into 42 and 70? Well, I know that they are both even numbers. And since they are both even numbers, that means they're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to just start with the lowest number this time. So I'm going to start with 42 divided by 2. And that is going to be 21. So then I write 21 here. And then I do 70 divided by 2. And that's going to be 35. So I put 35 right here. Now, are these prime numbers now? Let me think about it. I don't think that they are, because I know 7 times 3 is 21, and 7 times 5 is 21. So actually, I'm going to do another step in my ladder. So this is where the ladder comes from. So because I know this, I'm going to now do my next step. So I'm going to say, well, I know that 7 goes into both of them. So I'm going to put a 7 there. I wanted to put it in a different color so you can see it. And then I'm going to go 21 divided by 7, and that is 3. So there goes the 3. And 35 divided by 7 is 5, and a 5 goes right there. And now I know that 3 and 5 are prime numbers. That's where your prime numbers from the other day come into play. And I'm just going to draw a line here because I'm at the end of my thing, and I don't need to look at those. So again, for my GCF, what I'm doing for my GCF is I look at these two numbers here. This is my GCF part. So I go 7 times 2 for my GCF because those are both right there, and that's going to be 14. Now, for my LCM, remember, it makes an L shape. So I'm going to do the L, and I'm going to do all of these numbers, which is a lot of numbers, I know. So it's 2 times 7 times 3 times 5. Well, I know 5 times 2 is 10, and 7 times 3 is 21, so it's 210 for my LCM. So remember, the LCM is the L, the GCF is just on the left side. And this is the ladder method, and I like this better. And like before, if you find a larger number, if you knew it was 14 to start with, you could do that. But if you can't, just take the number that you know that goes into both. So I hope that makes sense and that you can understand how to do this and you can get more problems done. Have a great day. Bye.